Let's talk about the page versus the block menu. The page menu handles the overall publishing and controls the page itself, whereas the block menu is contextual menu options based on whatever block you're currently working on. So for instance, if I click on this paragraph of text here, you can see it shifts over to the paragraph specific block menu. You've got options that are specific only to that type of block. Items such as text color, background color, some typographic controls, some basic controls over how that paragraph block works. If you click on the button block, you can see there's no controls. It's got its own block menu, but all the controls are right on the page itself. So depending upon the block that you're in, those controls are going to vary. The page menu, if you click on that, this controls the overall functionality of the web page itself. So at the top, just be also aware that all these controls are collapsible, so they may not look exactly the way they look on my page that we're showing here. At the very top, you've got the visibility of the page. If we were to publish this test page, it would be public. If you click on this, you also have the ability to make it a private or password protected page. We talked about those earlier in the All Pages menu. You've got publishing controls right here. You can either, by default, if you click the publish button, that page automatically goes live. But say, for instance, you want a page to go live at like midnight on a Saturday, and the last thing you want to do is be in the office working on web pages on the weekend. If you click on this, you're going to give a date picker where you can actually pick the date and time for the page to go live. So you can set things to pre-publish for when you're not around. It's a really handy tool. The URL, this is the address of the page itself. So this is web-services.province.edu/test-page. Template. Like I said, there's really only a couple templates you're going to want to use. You're going to use either the default template or the home or the landing page and no sidebars template. All the other templates are set up for very specific reasons on province.edu. Don't use them because you're going to get some really weird results if you use them. So default, landing page and no sidebars, or the home template is the way to go. You've got the author field. You can either, by default, it'll assign any page you create to yourself, or you could also assign it to other people within your department if it's someone else who actually authored the page. You have the ability to move the page to the trash. That trashes the page and takes it out of publishing. Nice thing you've got here too is this revisions option. What I recommend is when you're editing your page, save it often. Weird things happen, the power goes out, the internet goes out, just protect your work. This revisions button, what this does, if you click on this, this gives you the ability to walk your page backwards in time. This is a brand new page, so there's really only two changes shown on it, but it shows you what was removed from the page, what was added to the page since the last time it was saved. If you roll your mouse over it, you're going to see how long ago was the last time it was saved and by who. If you pull this little slider back on the timeline here, you can actually restore it to an earlier version. So if I click on Restore this revision, you're going to see it's restore it to that point in time when I just barely created the page. If you click on the revisions again, we can actually walk it back to where I'd added a bunch of stuff. So if I restore this revision, you can see it's brought back my button and that linked text. Pretty nice. It's a handy thing to use. Like say for instance you have an event that you advertise on like your home page, and then the event is in the past and you want to remove it from your site. Rather than going in and tearing things out and changing up the HTML, what you can do is just use the revisions option to just walk it back to before you made that to edit and restore the page to the way it was before. Pretty handy little tool. All right. Some other options here. There's this featured image option. We talked a little bit about this under search engine optimization. If you set a featured image, this will be the image that will show up in social media sharing and also on search engines when this page is linked to. So it gives you the ability to set what image is associated with the page on search engines. Also, this set featured image is the image that shows up under a post list as well. So if this were a blog post, this is what would show up on the blog post background images. Like I'll show you, for example, if we go to the web services homepage, This is an example of a blog feed, and this one has a background image, a featured image associated with it, whereas this blog post does not. We'll talk about blog posts in another video. All right, there's under discussion, you've got the dreaded allow comments button. I urge you to think long and hard before you allow comments on your page, but you do have the ability to allow them on a page-by-page basis just by selecting that option. And then page attributes. This is where you can set parent-child relationships. So this page right now by itself, if I hit the preview button, you can see that it's showing the different options: desktop, tablet, mobile. It gives you an indication of what the page looks like. The best way to preview a page, though, actually, is to just publish it really quick. This is for a new page. Click on View Page. You can see what this page actually looks like. I'm going to hit the back button, and I'm going to go back to save it as a draft because I don't want people to see this ugly page. This is a standalone page. It didn't have any side menus. This is a great opportunity to talk about side menus. So you can set parent-child relationships with your pages. And what this does is when you set a parent-child relationship, I could set this page to be the child of, let's say here, we'll do the WordPress blocks and style guide page. That'll be its parent now. This will inherit some elements of that parent page, for instance, elements of the URL, the address. I can also set it, I know that page has a left sidebar, so I'm going to have it show the left sidebar, and I'm going to tell it to use the parent's left sidebar. So if I now publish this page and go to view it, you can see that now this is using the sidebar that's created on the WordPress blocks and style guide. It just inherited it because that is its parent page. The nice thing about parent-child relationships is that if you do any edits to the parent, their sidebar, it automatically flows to the child pages. This is really handy, like say for instance, on this WordPress blocks and style guide page, it has all these other pages that are child pages of it. If I make a change to the sidebar, these pages already automatically inherit any of those changes. It just makes your life easier as an editor, because that way you don't have to go into each individual page and edit the sidebar. To remove a parent-child relationship, real easy. All you have to do is go back down to Page Attributes, hit the X button to reset it, and I'm just going to remove the sidebar, and this is now a standalone page again. Creating your own sidebars is really easy. Let's talk about sidebars real quick. So, the web services homepage. This template is a landing page with no sidebar. It doesn't have any sidebars. WordPress blocks and style guide. This has a left-hand sidebar. Left-hand sidebars, you use those when you need to have a left-hand navigation, a left-hand menu, submenu. Really, this similar rules as to like main navigation. The topmost link needs to link to your home page, and everything else within that menu needs to link to something within your site. The side menus are great when you want to create like a mini site, a sub-site where you've got a whole bunch of things on a related topic that you need to categorize and make it easier for people to see and move through. At the bottom of every sidebar, there needs to be a contact information. This is just a great customer service thing. If you've got a user who's got questions, if you provide them with contact information, it's nice and handy for them right there. Anything in between the contact and the side menu is up for grabs. You can embed text, buttons, videos, whatever you want. But think of the contact us and the side menu as bookends. The side menu needs to be at the top of the page, and your contact us needs to be at the bottom. And the only place you should be at putting other content should be in between the two. And then there's also right-hand navigations. Let's go to another site. We're going to go to media.providence.edu. This is a site for public affairs, community, and government relations. They've got a right-hand column or sidebar. These are a little different. Really, the only rule about these is they need to have contact information at the very bottom of the sidebar. Everything else in between is up for grabs. You can add videos, call-outs, text, whatever you want. This is when you don't have like a the need for sub-navigation. This is when you would use a right sidebar. All right. Creating sidebars is real easy. All you have to do is, so we're on this test page, we're going to click on Show Left Sidebar. And sidebars are created using what are called web parts. Web parts are just chunks of code that do different things. There's 4 different types of web parts. There's the content web part, side menu web part, widgets, and contact web part. So we're going to add a contact web part to our sidebar. All you have to do is click Add Web Part, select Contact Web Part, and then what you're going to do is select contacts that are set up on your site. We only have the one, just the generic contact for our department. And now I'm going to update the page, and we're going to take a look. So now I've got the basic contact information. I still need to add more to this page, though. It needs to have, if it's going to be a left sidebar, it needs to have a side menu. So we're going to add a side menu. Side menu is real easy. Just click on Add Web Part. We're going to add a side menu web part. The side menu needs to be above the contacts, needs to be at the top of the sidebar. So we're going to drag it up. You give it a title. We're going to call this Test Resources. I want to link this text to the home page for the site. So there it is right there. This shows me a list of all the pages. So we're going to select Web Services. And then you get to select which menu you want to use. These are the ones that are already set up on the Web Services site. So I'm going to update the page, and we're going to take a look. So now it's got Test Resources label. This links back to the home page for Web Services, the contact information, and we've got a menu here. Editing menus is real easy. You can either go back to your dashboard and select Appearance and Menus, or if you're on a page already under Web Service or under the name of your department, you're going to see the option for menus. So I click on that. This is the menu editing area. By default, it has selected whatever the last menu was edited on your site. Basically on the left, you've got menu items that you can add to a menu, and on the right, you've got the structure for the menu. So we're going to create a new menu. All you have to do is click on Create a New Menu. You give it a name. We're going to call this Test Resources. And you want to create the menu. You're basically creating it. And now we want to add some menus to this, items to this menu. It shows you the most recent pages that you've edited. If you click on View All, this shows you all the pages in your site. So all you have to do is just select which pages you want to add. And then when you're happy with that, just click Add to Menu. And it adds those menu items to this menu. You could change the label on these. If I wanted to, I could relabel it to whatever you want, web stuff. Deleting menu items is real easy. Just open up the drop down and then click Remove. You can also nest things within each other to show relationships. I believe you can nest up to 4 levels deep to show deeper relationships. When you're done with it, just click on Save Menu. So now we've got this Test Resources menu created. Now, if we go back to our pages, if I go to the All Pages menu, and we're going to find our page, test page. There it is right there. So we're going to edit it. And I'm going to switch this menu from the one I had selected before to Test Resources. If I update it, and then I view the page, you can see it's now using that menu I just created. Really pretty easy stuff. There's a couple other options. We're going to edit the page again for your sidebars. You've got the ability to add a content web part. And what these are, I'll show you here. Here it is right here. I'm going to drag that in between the contacts and the menu because that's where it needs to live. This gives you the ability to add everything from YouTube videos or just simple blobs of text. You can do links, whatever you want. And you can just edit as you see fit there. You can add images, whatever you feel like. If I update the page, you're going to see it is nestled right in between here. The fourth web part is the widgets web part. I'm actually not going to go over that in this video. If you want more information about that, just reach out to the web team. Widgets are a way to set up pieces of content that you can reuse throughout your site. They're a little bit more complex. I may actually put a video together for that at a later date.